This is Mrs. Norris, and today I want to show you some of the prerequisite assignments for Monday, February 6th, 2023. Some of you have been with me since September, so the steps that I cover today might be review for you, so just be patient. There also might be things in here that you have not done yet because perhaps you missed that day in class or weren't able to finish the task when I assigned it earlier. Some of you have been with me since the end of January, so you are new, and some of these steps are going to be new to you. So again, whether or not you have done all of these things, you should watch this tutorial to the end and follow the steps that maybe you haven't done yet. Okay, so we are going to be adding Dualless to our bookmarks bar, and then I'm going to show you how to use it. So many of you have Dualless already on your bookmarks bar as an extension, but you don't know how to use it properly. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. We're also going to move the files from our desktop to our Google Drive, and we are going to make sure that we check our downloads folder as well. If there are files in there, we're going to move them, and also make sure that we change our setting in Chrome so that our downloads go directly to our desktop. Once all of our files have been moved to our drive, we're going to throw them from our desktop into the trash, and we're going to empty the trash. Now, this last few steps, the ones where we are moving our files from our desktop to our drive and then trashing the rest of our files from our desktop, that is something that we need to do on a regular basis, perhaps every week. We do not want to bog down our desktop with files that we don't use or need at the moment, because all it's going to do is slow down our computer. So if you look at your own screen, you might see that there's dozens of files over here without a home. It takes your computer longer to load every single time you log in because it has to load each of those files onto your desktop. So by moving them into our drive, we give them a permanent place to live, and trashing them from our desktop to our trash can and then emptying our trash can makes it easier on our computer to work properly. So those are the things that we're going to do and the reasons why we are going to do them. So let's start first with adding Dualless to our bookmarks bar. So you are watching the tutorial here. It's not on the screen right now as I am recording this on Sunday evening, but Monday when you come into class, it will be on this page here. Okay, so excuse me, adding Dualless is going to be done by clicking on the link here, and it's going to open in a new folder or in a new tab. I just want you to watch me first, and then you'll hear me say stop this tutorial and complete the steps if you haven't already. I don't want you to stop until that moment. So just watch what I do first and then follow the steps yourself. Okay, so I'm going to click on the link here, and it's going to take me automatically to the Dualless extension screen. Now, I already have it added to my Chrome extensions. You possibly do not. So I'm going to pretend like I don't, and I'm going to remove it. Okay, so your screen looks like this. You have an add to Chrome button. So in a moment, not yet, what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, not yet, but in a moment when I tell you, I want you to click add to Chrome if you haven't done so in the past. You want to add the extension. Now you see that it's up here, and what we want to do is make sure that it is on our bookmarks bar up at the top here. Okay, so I'm going to X out of this. So again, add, and now what I need to do is click on the puzzle piece, and I need to make sure that the Dualless pin is clicked. Okay, so let me do this again for you. I'm going to remove it from me. This is what you are going to do. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to add, and then I want you to go to the puzzle piece and pin. So add, pin. Please stop this tutorial and do that for me now. Okay, so you should now have Dualless as an extension onto your bookmarks bar. Some of you might already have it from, again, a previous prerequisite activity that you might have finished, but you might not know how to use it. So I'm going to show you how to use it, okay? We're going to be using our drive today. So what I want everyone to do is open a new tab. So what I want you to do is I want you to click on the plus sign, and I want you to go to your drive. You can do that by clicking on the waffle and going to your drive. Please pause the tutorial and do that for me now. Okay, we no longer need this Dualless tab, so I'm going to close it. But I do know that I'm going to be using the drive for the rest of this activity. So what I want to do is I want to click, don't do this yet, just wait. I'm going to click and drag the tab down to the bottom here. Okay, so now I have my Monday assignment and I have my drive open in two separate tabs. I'm going to go to Dualless, and Dualless has these different options. Whatever screen I am on when I click the Dualless, so right now I'm on the Drive tab screen, whatever screen or tab I'm on, when I click Dualless, that is going to go wherever I click the box. Okay, so if I click the box here, then it's going to go on the left-hand side at 60% and the other tab will be at 40. It's pretty simple to just do the 50-50. So I'm going to click on the 5-5, and now you can see that Dualless has automatically given me my two tabs split together evenly. Okay. So let me show that to you again. I'm going to go ahead and put this back, and when I do, it takes it to full screen again. I'm going to click and drag my tab, and then I'm going to go to Dualless, and I'm going to click the 5-5, and it's going to split it evenly. Please do that for me now. Okay, so we now have our two tabs open. On the one side, we have the drive, and on the second side, we have our tutorial that you're watching here. This is the way that you should do this most of the time, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move files from our desktop, and that's this space in the computer is called the desktop. So we're going to move files from our desktop into our Mrs. Norris folder. Now, some of you have that folder and some of you do not. So I'm going to click on my drive. You do the same. And you should have a folder that says 2022 Mrs. Norris. If you don't have that folder, what you need to do is go to the new button and click new folder. Now, this is 2023. So if you're doing this for the first time right now, you can make this a 2023 Mrs. Norris folder and then click create. So I'm going to have a couple of things going on at the same time, my 2022 people and my 2023 people. So my 2022 people who have this folder already, go ahead and open that up. And my people who have just created a folder for the first time, your 2023 Mrs. Norris folder, go ahead and open that up. Okay. Now, my 2022 people, we already have these folders, or should already have these folders created, called code screenshots, Google PDFs, and Tinkercad images. So code screenshots, Google PDFs, and Tinkercad images. Okay, so we're going to make those same folders in our 2023 if you don't already have them now. So if you already have them, just be patient while I walk through these steps for the students who don't have them yet. Okay, so going back to my drive, I'm going to open my 2023 folder. If you don't have those three folders that I've already mentioned, you're going to create them now, whether your folder is 2022 or 2023. Okay, I'm going to click on new folder, and I'm going to call it code screenshots. Okay, please do the same. I'm going to do new again, new folder, Tinkercad images. Now, my people who just joined me in 2023, you don't have any Tinkercad images, but we're going to create the folder anyway, just in case they come up later, okay? And then finally, we want our Google files. So Google PDFs, and screenshots. So any Google PDFs that we've downloaded onto our desktop and our screenshots, we're going to do those now. Okay. So these are the three places that we are going to save our documents. Most of my people who just started in January, at the end of January, you may or may not have some Google PDFs and screenshots, but that's probably all you have. My people from last year, you should have some Google PDFs, probably some Tinkercad images, and definitely some coding screenshots. Now you can get even more in depth, like if you look at some of the folders that I have, if I were to go through them, my code screenshots have folders inside of them for each of the different lessons. So like coding with Scratch or the Code High School Pixel Art. You can create as many folders as you want. All folders do is help keep you more organized. So that part I'm going to leave to you. All I expect from you is to save your screenshots into these folders. Okay, so now, if you have any files on your desktop, I'm just going to move this over to show. If you have any files, now these are all folders that I've created. I don't have any files because I keep my desktop clean. Any folders or files that you have that you need to move into your desktop or into your drive, you're going to do that now. So if you have any coding screenshots, you're going to put them in there, your Google PDFs, and your Tinkercad if you have them. So if you have any of these, what I want you to do is take a moment from your desktop and move them into their correct spot. So I'm going to go ahead and have you pause the tutorial and move your files into your drive, and then we'll reconvene and I'll tell you your next steps after that. Okay, so at this point, your files are still here, but you've got them organized on your drive. The reason why you want to have these files as backup is because we might include them onto a digital portfolio or a website. You might want to show a teacher later down the road that you've done some of these things so that they know that you're capable of completing certain tasks. There are reasons for keeping things that maybe right now you don't know what they are, but it's good to have them just in case. So they should have all been moved into these folders. So now any files that you have on your desktop now need to go into your trash. So you can click each one by one and drag them into your trash, or you can right click on them and put and click on move to trash. So what I want you to do right now is pause the tutorial and move any files that you've now moved onto your drive, move them from your desktop into your trash. Do that for me now, please. All right, so you now have a a full trash can and an empty desktop. So your desktop should be totally empty. There is one more place to check to see if you have any files that need to be moved and trashed before we move on to the next step. So if you click on the Finder on the bottom left-hand side of your dock, I'm going to click on that. You want to look at your Downloads folder. So see, I have some images in my downloads folder that I should file away. So any files that are in your your downloads folder. So again, I went to Finder and then downloads. Any documents or images or PDFs that you have in here, file those into your drive and then put them in your trash. So again, you're going to look at your Finder, downloads, and then file them onto your Google Drive and then put them in the trash. So your downloads folder should be empty. So I'm going to go ahead and have you pause the tutorial and do that for me now. All right, so now your Finder should be empty. Your downloads folder, mine's not because I don't know what those are. I'm going to do that later. But your downloads folder should be empty. Your desktop should be empty. Okay, so any files that you have now should be in the trash after you've already moved them to your drive. So they should be in your drive and then you should put them in the trash. Okay. So now what we need to do is empty our trash. So we have two ways of emptying our trash. We can right click, and if you have trash in there, it will say empty trash, or you can go to clicking on your desktop anywhere down in the corner here. And then if you go to Finder, empty trash, you can empty the trash that way. Okay. So what I want you to do now is empty your trash. All right, so this is something that at the end of every week you should get into the habit of doing, moving files from your desktop into your drive and then from your desktop into your trash can. If you move them into the trash can and then empty your trash, they're gone and you won't be able to retrieve them. The other reason why we put things into our drive is because, let's say, for example, your computer breaks down. Something happens to the hard drive and you have to move computers for the class. Those files don't move from your desktop with you to your next desktop. They'll be lost. So what you need to do is save them onto your drive. That way, if you need to work from home, or maybe you went on a vacation with your family and you're trying to do homework, all of that stuff is saved in your drive so you can access it anywhere. Whereas if you save it on your desktop, it's only available when you're working on that specific computer. So the files that I have here at my house are different from the files that I have on my computer at work. They're not the same. Okay, so you need to make sure that you are saving them onto your drive and emptying them into the trash, because we want to have a clean desktop. It helps our computer run properly. So now the last thing that I want to do is confirm our settings in Chrome before we download anything else from an activity that we do. We want to make sure that our downloads are going directly to our desktop. You may have already completed this step, but let's just follow along and make sure that we have, just in case. Okay, so you're going to go to your top right hand corner of Chrome. If it tells you to relaunch, we're going to do that later. And we're going to go down to settings. And then what I think is the easiest thing to do is where it says search settings, I'm going to look for downloads. I'm going to type in downloads. And you can see right here downloads. And it says, for me, my downloads are being saved to my desktop. If yours says desktop, you're good to go. If it says anything other than desktop, what you're going to do is click change. And then you're going to select desktop. Okay, so that once you hit desktop, it's going to save. It doesn't matter if you save it on the desktop here. Mine, because my iCloud is connected to other computers, it saves to my iCloud desktop. You won't have that option. Your desktop is going to be here. Okay, so you're going to click on the desktop, the correct desktop, and you're going to click select. So now it should say desktop. That way you don't have to go to your Finder and look in your downloads folder. Everything is going to go automatically to your desktop when you download it. If it's a PDF, if it's a screenshot, if it's anything like that, it's going to go directly to your desktop. Okay. So we've done all the things that we need to do. We've downloaded or added Dualless to our Chrome extensions, and we've practiced using it. We've moved our files from our desktop to our Google Drive. We've also checked our downloads folder and moved those from our downloads folder to our Google Drive as well. We've moved all of our files from our desktop to the trash can, and we've emptied the trash. And then finally, we've confirmed our settings in Chrome to make sure that our downloads go directly to our desktop and no other folder. So once you have completed all of these steps, in the bottom left right hand corner of your screen on your assignment, it should say mark as done. If you mark it as done, then your next assignment will open. If you don't mark it as done, then you're going to have to watch this to make sure that you do that. Okay, so mark this as done if you followed all of my steps today. If you need to go back and rewatch, that's fine. Some people like to watch the video all the way through and then go back and do the steps. However you need to watch it to be able to complete the task, please do so. Mark it as done, and then you can continue working on your assignments.